1981 report of an Ohio family besieged by UFOs, hairy humanoids, and black forms by Charles Lear. In 1981, there was a highly strange report out of Ohio that involved UFOs, Bigfoot-type creatures, and black forms, all of which reportedly besieged a family in Ohio during the months of June and July. Reports of Bigfoot-type creatures and UFOs being seen in the same area at or near the same time are not all that unusual, particularly in the area around Chestnut Ridge in next-door Pennsylvania, focused on by researcher Stan Gordon. However, questions remain about the Ohio case, and unfortunately, the main investigator passed away in 2022. Also, the main witness has never been identified, so following up on the story is difficult. The case was investigated by Dennis Pilichis, who wrote about it in a booklet he self-published in 1982, titled Night Siege, the Northern Ohio UFO-Creature Invasion. It has a foreword by Bertolt Schwartz, M.D., who was a psychiatrist with a long-time interest in paranormal subjects, was a frequent contributor to Flying Saucer Review, and wrote about what was one of Stan Gordon's strangest Bigfoot/UFO encounter cases in the July 1974 issue. In his introduction, Pilichis tells the reader that Night Siege is the result of 4 months of investigation, and that the data collected includes extensive interviews and on-site recordings captured on cassette tape and photos of ground effects and footprints of various kinds. He says there were more than 15 witnesses, and that he and researchers who were assisting him have also seen the strange lights, the actual creatures, and related phenomena. He insists that what he presents in the booklet is true and totally consistent with events in other areas of the U.S., but explains they get very little public attention, with many details only known to researchers through private distribution. Pilichis describes the scene as he first came upon it, saying he saw 2 ladders up against the family house, as well as coats, a flashlight, and coffee cups up on the roof. He describes the yard as being covered with spent shotgun shells and says the family was highly agitated and stressed. He says he introduced himself to the family as a local person who was interested in the strange goings-on, and that he did not mention UFOs, Bigfoot, or aliens, or that he investigated such things. He closes his intro saying that with this report and previous data, it is obvious there is a very disturbing pattern and linkage of paranormal UFO/Bigfoot activity taking place all over the United States. According to Pilichis, the activity began about a year previous, with a deer being found in the woods with its side cut open by what seemed to have been claws. This was followed by shots being heard, where a group of Amish workers were cutting wood on the property of the main witness, called Robert S. According to Pilichis, as the Amish workers brought out a horse with its side cut open, claw marks dug 1.5 inches deep are described, they refused to discuss it and said they had been shooting snakes. He says they didn't return for their equipment for at least a month. The first of the creature encounters involving Robert S. is described under the heading The Encounter of June 25, 1981. According to Pilichis, Robert S. and 2 of his sons noticed their ducks acting up and saw a black form on all fours with glowing red eyes going after them. As one of the boys shone a light at the creature's eyes, Robert shot it with a .410 shotgun single shot. The creature is said to have screamed and gone flying down the field in a westerly direction. Another encounter is described under the heading The Encounter of June 26, 1981. Robert is said to have seen a creature about 30 feet away and to have used his flashlight to get a good look at its face and chest. This creature is described as being like a gorilla, 9.5 feet tall, black, with luminous glowing red eyes, the size of a hardball, 1.5-inch fangs, and teeth like a shark's. According to Pilichis, Robert ran back to the house, told his boys to get their pants on, as he grabbed the same gun, and then went with the boys to his truck. Pilichis says they chased the creature, but lost it at the woodline. Then, as they headed back to the house, the truck reportedly died for no apparent reason, though the headlights stayed on. According to Pilichis, they eventually got it started, went back to the house, and kept watch all night. If the next section is to be believed, under the heading, The Encounter of June 28, 1981, things took a dramatic turn as the family saw multiple black forms, one of which is said to have been waving a blue light back and forth, as well as multiple sets of glowing eyes. According to Pilichis, the family opened up with their guns and went through 2 boxes of 12-gauge mag shells. One creature is said to have been hit and fallen to the ground, and when 2 more sets of eyes approached, the family is said to have opened up again, sending whatever was behind the eyes running, one to the east and one to the west. Pilichis tells the reader that, at this point, the family felt they were under siege, ran back to the house, and for the rest of the night occasionally saw forms running on the woodline. Pilichis says he went into the fields with Roberts and his family and found 3-toed footprints in a field that the creature that was reportedly shot reportedly ran through. This was apparently on July 1st, as this is when casts of 2 footprints shown in photos are said to have been made. Prior to Pilichis, on June 29th, officers from the Ashtabula Sheriff Department came out at 5 a.m. and 11 a.m., and Pilichis includes transcripts of the police reports. They sum up what was told to the officers, and the first report describes them finding prints but being told by the game warden that nothing could be done unless a clear print could be obtained. The next account, under the heading Encounters the Night of July 1st, 1981, is where the UFOs come into the story. According to Pilichis, the family had been keeping nightly watches on the roof, and on the night of July 1st, 2 family members saw 4 objects/lights shaped like huge oil tanks, somewhat square and box-like, along the woodline that were changing color from blue to yellow to something that looked like black. One of them is said to have shone a light onto the ground that lit the area up like it was day. Pilichis says screams like that of a woman were heard, the lights went out, the forms were then seen running near the tree line, and there was more shooting as before. But this time, the forms screamed. He says a bright light appeared over the cornfield across the street, and one family member said he felt the light from it hit him in the head. According to Pilichis, this person felt like he was losing consciousness as he almost fell off the roof, and had a headache for the rest of the day. The light is said to have gone out after another person up there shot at it. Another light, described as something like a red-hot coal but bigger in size, is said to have landed in a tree. According to Pilichis, when this light was shot at, it jumped down a branch and turned into something like an owl, and as the shooting continued, it fell onto the ground, got up, and ran down to the woodline on all 4s. The last object, described as smaller in size and shaped like a cigar box, with blue lights around it and a brighter red one in the middle, is said to have flown over the house at 200 feet. The father, Robert S., is said to have had one of his sons brace his feet, and then to have shot, aiming at the red light. According to Pilichis, the man hit it, and as he heard what sounded like a bullet hitting glass, it went out. Next week, Pilichis and other investigators witnessed some of the strangeness firsthand, and some recent thoughts on the validity of the report from researchers profiled in the Small Town Monsters, Mysteries and Monsters episode, Sasquatch Night Siege. Charles Lear is the author of The Flying Saucer Investigators, available in its 2nd edition at Amazon.com.